Hey, this is Samantha Rose, and you're watching PhilippineNews.com.
Our scholarship fund is the largest Asian American Pacific Islander scholarship fund in the nation. And since inception, since we started, we've given out over $90 million to Asian and Pacific Islander American students in literally all 50 states and all of the Pacific Islands. And another way of describing who we are and what we've been doing, I cite something that Wei Ling told me years ago when she hired me, which was, we would like to be like the United Negro College Fund one day that has, it's about $300 million in linkages across the country. And so think of us as an organization as the Asian Pacific Islander version of the United Negro College Fund or the Thurgood Marshall College Fund. And that's important for you to frame and put into consideration, because those institutions, each one of them, UNCF, they partner with private historically black colleges in the United States today. And the Thurgood Marshall College Fund partners with all the public HBCUs in the nation. So it's no distinction other than we should be working with the Asian American, Native American, Pacific Islander serving institutions in the nation. And that's really the long and short of why we are here tonight. What we do as an organization is three specific things. One is we try to accelerate student access, persistence, and success through scholarships and the programmatic support that we provide students across the nation. We mobilize communities through our research and our higher education summit in the nation. And then the third part, which is very relevant, is we work to help strengthen the Asian American Pacific Islander serving institutions who really support Asian Pacific Islander Americans who we care about the most, the underserved Asians in the United States today. So first, let me give you some data and information about why this is all important. And it wasn't until we did some research in partnership with the National Commission on API Research and Education that we really began to understand some basic facts. One is that half of all Asian Pacific Islander Americans in the nation attend community colleges. You see, in this nation today, there's this view that Asians are only attending the top campuses, the Ivy Leagues, and taking up all the spaces. We're all rich, and that we don't need a lot of help. And so that has been the myth that we've been struggling with from the start of the scholarship fund. So today, tonight is very critical when we come back here to San Francisco, because this was one of the launching sites years ago for the scholarship fund. We've come a long way since the founding of this organization. And so today, the data shows that besides 50% of the Asians attending community colleges, there are in fact 153 Asian American, Native American, Pacific Islander institutions in the nation, clustered in just 15 states. 153 campuses. That represents less than 3% of all post-secondary institutions in the United States today, which is very profound. And by definition, in order to be an APPI campus, you have to have at least 10% or more Asian Pacific Islander Americans on your campus, and at least half of whom have to be Pell Grant eligible, meaning underserved students, which is why we in the Scholarship Fund care and want to work with the APPI campuses throughout the nation today. So there's good news because of leadership from Wells Fargo and many of our other supporters. Today we partner with just 15 of the APPI campuses. A number of them are right here in the Bay Area, and I have representatives tonight, and you'll be hearing from a number of them. They represent campuses such as City College of San Francisco right here, Cal State East Bay, Laney College, Mission College, San Francisco State University, and De Anza College. And let's give them a round of applause because they are the leaders. And you see, so what we do today is this linkage and partnership with these kinds of campuses, including all the Cal States in California, not only here, but in Southern California. And we have a long way to go. And the story that I tell about what we're doing and why we're doing this is essentially like what Wei Ling had said. Can we be like the United Negro College Fund in the nation? The answer is absolutely, and this is why we're doing this. You see, this story, when you think about the United Negro College Fund, they've been around for 75 years already, and they have a specific linkage with the campuses. We are only 11 years old this year, and I told you we are today are partnered with just 15. There are 77 campuses in the nation, APPI campuses, that have raised their hand and said, we are deserving of federal government funding to run programs and programmatic support in the United States today. So that's one part. 21 of these campuses have received federal government funding. They are in the room here tonight. And you're going to hear from Leroy Moroshka very shortly, who's the president of CSU East Bay, who we are very delighted he spent the time to come here tonight. But for that matter, all the other leadership from all the other campuses wanted to be here tonight, but they couldn't make it because of their commitments, including President Les Wong from San Francisco State, right here in downtown San Francisco. So net of it is we have a long way to go, and we would like to do more of this into the future. All of these campuses are a very, very impressive group of leaders and leadership. They run specific programs on their campuses, programmatic support, running best practices. We want to share those best practices with other campuses throughout the United States so that other API students at other campuses throughout the US can have a chance to graduate those students at high numbers to be successful. In terms of graduation rates, here's where some of the other dilemma is. If I asked you, do you know what the graduation rate across the board is in the United States today for all students entering college? Sadly, the answer is about 39% of all students entering college today, which is why the federal government, national foundations today are very interested in increasing the graduation rate to, sadly, it's only 60%. But that is a long trajectory. Our record in the scholarship fund is for every student who has touched our scholarship and received scholarship, we know by name 83% of all of our students graduate from community colleges and or four-year institution. So we're very, very proud of that with the leadership that we have. Some of the things that we've been doing, though, as a scholarship fund is also pretty exciting, and it deals with a lot of the research and the convenings we do throughout the United States today. So I have some questions for you, and one of the questions which I share with you because this is relevant as it applies to APPI campuses. You know, each campus is very unique across the nation. But if I ask you a bold question, in the past now 6 years, do you know who the top 2 groups of refugees are in the United States today? Do you know what the answer is? Because it's one of our publications that we published in January of this year on Capitol Hill. Silence. That was a question to the audience. This is audience participation night. I mean, literally, that's the question, right? So years ago, when you think about it, if I asked the question, you would have said Vietnamese. But that's about a 40-year-old answer. And if you said Hmong, that's a 20-year-old answer. So what is the answer today in contemporary America? And the reason why I ask this question publicly in these kinds of forums is because I take this question personally. You know, I said 6 years, and I also gave you 6 years I've been doing this job, and I only found out about what I'm going to tell you within the past 2 years, which means it's on my watch, and I didn't know about this. So the question is, do you, the Asian Pacific Islander American community in San Francisco, know who the top 2 refugee groups to the United States is in the United States today? Da 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 da. What is it? I couldn't hear it. Huh? Afghanistan. Well, so here's my answer. When I got this question posed to me by one of my employees really 2 years ago, my answer was Iraq and Afghanistan. So that's a great answer, because generally that's the kind of place you would think would be where refugees would be coming from. Somalia would be another if you said that, and these are all answers in the top 10. And so the number 1 until last year was Burma or Myanmar, and this number 2 was Bhutan, and this year it's actually switched. Bhutan is number 1, Burma is number 2. While some are coming to California, these refugees are actually settling in the Midwest and in the South. So what's happening today is a lot of the campuses throughout the Midwest and South are becoming APPI campuses. One campus that we partner with is, for instance, Richland College out of Dallas, Texas, where we hosted an event, similar event like this not too long ago. The greatest propensity of Asians at Richland College happens to be Burmese as well as Bhutanese, because some of the largest camps are right outside of those areas. So this is what's happening in the nation today. It's part of the changing face of America. They're moving into small towns in the United States like Omaha, Nebraska, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Northwest Arkansas, Columbia, South Carolina. And these are the areas where we are doing a lot of outreach today. So our work is quite profound in terms of what we've been doing and how we've been partnering. Now, I have to say that we wouldn't have been able to partner and work with 15 campuses, but for the graciousness and understanding by Wells Fargo. You see, Wells Fargo started in last year, and provided us with a $3.1 million grant, a big part of which provides scholarships to not only students attending campuses in the U.S., but also an ability for us to scale to many institutions in the U.S. And we're very grateful to the Wells Fargo Foundation as well as Wells Fargo Company. And I want to give them a round of applause. In addition to that, one of the areas where they're helping us fund and support is something called Jumpstart. And Jumpstart is a very profound program, and we are able to do about 10 of these in the United States at various APPIs in the nation. On Saturday, by the way, we're running a Jumpstart program at Cal State East Bay. What this is about is to instruct the next generation of Asian Pacific Islander Americans with respect to leadership, mentoring, career services, understanding how to meander through and get into college, ways in which they can persist, and ways in which they can be successful, as well as talk about financial literacy, which is a big part of what we'll be talking about. So these are things that we'll be doing in the nation. And again, Cal State East Bay is a key partner of ours. Now, to share more about APIASF's outstanding partnership with Wells Fargo, I would like to introduce to you Jermaine Chi, Senior Vice President for the Wells Fargo Community Bank.
I guess that's kind of an announcement. So thank you, Neil, for the kind introduction, and thank you all for thank you for the APIASF team for putting together such a wonderful event. Let's give the APIASF team and Neil a round of applause for that outstanding work. And as Neil said, my name is Jermaine Chi. I am with the Wells Fargo Community Bank, and I lead the strategic planning group for the contact centers and within the virtual channels group. I'm also actually privileged to be co-chair of the Asian Connection Team Member Network in the Bay Area. I wanted to welcome you guys to the Wells Fargo Museum and thank you all for being here. Isn't this museum amazing? It's got it's been so well put together. It just really reopened earlier this spring after some extensive renovations. So make sure you take some time to kind of look around and admire all the great exhibitions that we have. I don't know if you know Joyce Wong. She's right here, our museum curator. She'll want you to definitely take a good look at all the exhibits and also bring your friends and family back to enjoy the museum. This museum reflects many of the proud traditions of Wells Fargo, and so it's a really appropriate place to have this event. Because one of the great traditions of Wells Fargo is supporting the communities that we live and serve in. Last year alone, Wells Fargo donated $270 million to not-for-profit organizations in our communities. And money went to 18,500 organizations all over the country. And this includes $81 million to 8,000 education programs in schools. APIASF is one of the beneficiaries of this of our giving. And they are also a national strategic partner in this area for us. APIASF and Wells Fargo's relationship goes back some years. And since the partnership began, we have awarded 819 scholarships and over $3 million. And this year, we plan to double our contribution over the next 3 years. So we will be able to support a lot of the great programs that APIASF has. This year's scholarship recipients include 42% who are the first in their families to go to college. and 73% of the recipients are from households with annual incomes of less than $30,000. Learning is a life journey that starts when we are conceived, and it's the lifeblood of a growing and thriving society. I was really lucky. I had the benefit of graduate education that was funded by my very generous father, who was the first in his family to go to college. I know that not everyone is as blessed, but it doesn't feel right when someone's opportunities are limited because of social and economic factors. That is why, as a team member of Wells Fargo and a member of this vibrant Asian community, I'm especially proud that Wells Fargo is sponsoring the Jumpstart College Tour and other APIASF programs. Our partnership with organizations like APIASF help us to support our communities and make a difference in people's lives. So Neil talked about the college tour and its history. So it's really exciting that the first ever California tour is this weekend at Cal State East Bay. And I think there will be more tours in the Windy City as well as other campuses all around the country. So there's so much to celebrate. Thank you all for being here to celebrate this great partnership with Wells Fargo and APIASF. So I hope you guys enjoy the evening and have a great Jumpstart weekend event this weekend.
So thank you very much, Jermaine, and really again I want to thank Wells Fargo for all their leadership. For without their funding, we would not be able to scale from a few APPC campuses to now 15, and our goal is to really work with, as I said, all 77 designated APPCs in the nation. We have a long way to go and a lot more scholarships to give out. So now I'm very excited to introduce to you Dr. Leroy Orishta, who is the president of Cal State University East Bay, who is our next speaker. Dr. Orishta has more than 30 years of experience in higher education. He is the 5th president of the institutions, and he was appointed in January 2012. He's literally one of the leaders of one of the leading APPCs in the nation. He's committed to supporting not only the persistence but success of not only Asian Pacific Islander Americans, but all the students on his campus. He's a leading president of the nation, so we're so delighted to have you tonight, Leroy. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Neil, for that very nice introduction. Good evening, everybody. It's really wonderful to be here, to see so many good faces and some people that I know and others that I'm happy to meet today. We're really glad to be here, and it's really a very nice occasion. First, I want to acknowledge the great work of Neil and the APIASF and what they're doing. I got to meet Neil 2 years ago in Washington, D.C. Went out there for a visit, and we got together and hit it off pretty well, and I was really impressed by all that they're working on and all that they're doing. Also, thanks to Jermaine Chi and the Wells Fargo for the work that you're doing here, and you have been doing a lot in terms of promoting access to higher education, which is very, very important, and I believe strongly in all the things that Neil talked about in terms of offering those opportunities to our students from underserved communities. That the model minority myth does need to be broken. All the Asians are not successful, and a number of them are living in poverty or really do not have any types of education opportunities. And so part of the whole program is really to provide for that population. So thank you to Neil and others that have really worked at that. Thank you to the board members who are here from APIASF and all that you are doing in terms of really providing that financial opportunities for our students. At Cal State East Bay, our mission is really to prepare graduates for the workforce and really to become leaders in our region and beyond. And in Hayward and Oakland, we have the largest Pacific Islander population in the state of California. So we really need to reach out to that community, really provide those kind of opportunities. And due to our increased enrollment of API students at Cal State East Bay, a few years ago, Dr. Mei-Ling Wu and Dr. Kim Jerome applied for an APPI designation. And in 2011, the university was granted an APPI designation. They also worked very hard and put together a grant proposal, so we are one of the grantees from the Department of Education for an APPI grant that really helps to try to provide us the resources to provide the services that are necessary for our API students to really succeed and do well. So this includes mentoring, tutoring, types of one-on-one activities that are really providing them kind of the support network that is needed for these students, particularly when they come from first generation in their family to go to college, that they don't know kind of the steps that they need to do to succeed, where to turn. So our program has been very, very successful. In the past 3 years, we've had a 95% retention rate of those students that have been participating. We're serving about 130 or so, Kim, something like that.
100 each year. So 300.
100 each year, so we're up to 300 students. So a 95% retention rate of those students, and for the seniors that have reached senior status, they have graduated. All of them have graduated, so we're really proud of that. We track the students who leave and the reasons why they leave, and a lot of those deal with other issues. Some of them are financial, and so being able to have our students apply for the scholarships that are offered by APIASF is going to be really helpful for our students, because there are financial needs that occur, but there are also other types of issues that arise for our students, whether they be personal and family issues, really helping out at the home. And we all know what that's like, and those kind of things intervene with education opportunities for our students. So we're really working hard at trying to address all the issues for our students so that they can succeed. So we've been very, very fortunate with the dollars from the APPI grant. We're trying to figure out ways to make that sustainable. As Neil said, we really work for all of our students. We're really proud because we not only had an APPI designation, but we also got an HSI, the Hispanic Serving Institution designation this year, because we have about 27% of our student population are Latino Hispanic origin. So we have both scholarships, or both designations, and we're one of the few in the country to have both designations. Neil knows, and he's been assisting in trying to work, because the legislation on the Department of Education permits you to only get one of the two grants. So you can apply for both grants as an HSI institution or as an APPI, but you're only eligible to receive one of those grants. And so I'm trying to work with our legislators, and Neil and others in Washington, D.C. are working with us and others to really try to see if we can get that changed within Washington, so that we can provide opportunities not only for Hispanic students, but also APPI students, as well as African American students and Native American students. So we're really trying to work at those levels. I'm the president leading the initiative for the California State University AAPI initiative, and really trying to push the whole state in terms of providing access and degree attainment for our AAPI's populations. The underserved populations we're really targeting are the Samoan, the Tongan, the Marshallese, the Hawaiian, Cambodian, Hmong, Laotian, and Fijian, and also the underserved Chinese, Vietnamese, Filipino, Korean, and Thai populations. So we really have a lot of different populations to work with, speaking a lot of different languages, so really moving the needle and really reaching out to those communities is a very difficult task, but one that we are working very hard at. In the fall of 2013, the API population in the California State University system was about 17% of the 450,000 students in the 23 universities that comprise the CSU. At Cal State East Bay, we had 24% of our population was API. So we were really working hard at that across the California State University system, but at Cal State East Bay also. So we have done a program similar to the Jumpstart program at the Cal State East Bay, but also throughout the 10 CSU campuses that are part of our API initiative. So we have done these college tours, trying to reach out to the community. So we really welcome this opportunity to do the Jumpstart program at Cal State East Bay, to reach out to our communities, to really bring that message to them that education, college education is possible, but you have to follow various steps. You have to make sure you take the coursework necessary, that you have the preparation, that you go out and reach out to the services that are available in your high schools or available in the colleges, and also that finances should not be a barrier, that there are opportunities such as a scholarship that is being offered here with the support of Wells Fargo and others, but also that we also have resources within the university, within the state, and within the country. So that should not be the barrier that keeps our students from going to college. So we're really trying to communicate that message, so we're really proud that we're going to be able to host that Jumpstart program this weekend at Cal State East Bay. So we're really pleased that the APIASF and APPI Scholarship Program is going to be provided to Cal State East Bay students, but other students within the Bay Area across the country as well. So it's really through the collective efforts of everybody, the people in this room, across the country, really in terms of trying to reach out and help all the underserved populations. So I thank you for being here. I thank you, Neil, again for all the work that you're doing and all the commitment that you have towards this effort. And you're not alone, and I'm sure at times you've all felt like you're alone. It's a very lonely task, but there are a lot of good colleagues here and friends who are ready to step in and help out. So thank you very much.
Anything else, what I want to do is, because we have reporters here, this is about a national dialogue. It is about linking together not only the Asian Pacific Islander American Scholarship Fund, but again, these campuses throughout the entire United States. Because I'll share with you one other fact. So the question is, why are APPIASF recognized only within the last few years? What has been going on so that we were not really recognized in the United States? So there's an important story that I need to share with all of you, and what got me excited about this whole initiative and why the APPIASF campuses today are doing the kind of work that they're doing. Unfortunately, there was language in the United States federal government, through the Department of Education, that literally said Asians, and the exact words were, quote, Asians and Pacific Islander Americans are not included in minority serving institution designation. It was that bold. And the question is, why did that happen, and how did it come to be? And so the way I try to explain it is, bad data in the United States drove a lot of bad policy, and this was one of the worst bad policy that affected the Asian Pacific Islander American community. But there was a reason why the nation had bad data. And the way I will ask the question is, in what year did we as Asian Pacific Islander Americans in the nation, were we able to say we were Asians in the United States according to the US Census? In what year? And the answer is 1990. In 1980, I was other. My family had to write other. And prior to that, we were other. So essentially what I'm telling you is the federal government and even state governments never really collected data about Asian Pacific Islander Americans, and let alone the disaggregation of data of 48 different ethnicities and over 300 sub-ethnicities in the nation. And when you disaggregate all these ethnicities, you find that indeed, while some Asian Pacific Islander American community are doing very well, a lot of others are not doing well, which is why this topic is so important, why the Scholarship Fund exists to provide support to underserved API students, and why APPIASFs are so important in the nation. And hence, it was that dialogue that we created through the Higher Education Summit and publications in Washington that helped to facilitate the final getting it over the line to get APPIASFs officially recognized in May 2011. And it was then that this whole topic is now more relevant. But I also want to highlight that besides Dr. Morishna, I want to highlight other leaders, and I want her to raise her hand. It's Min Hua Ta, who's Dean at City College of San Francisco, who has done equally impressive work right here in downtown. Also, I want you to know, and by the way, if you haven't visited her building, please go and visit it. It's right 2 blocks away. It's a beautiful, beautiful building right in downtown San Francisco, right in Chinatown. And also Ken Sonko from Mission College, who has been leading his program. Ken, where are you? And who's here from San Francisco State University? Thank you for being here tonight. And I know we have Laney College. There you folks are, so thank you for being here. And De Anza College. Thank you. And did I miss any campus? So thank you for all being here, because you folks are really those on the campus every day supporting the API students. Like anything else, a scholarship fund and the campuses we talk about. But there's one other key part of this. And what I would like to do is recognize all of the students and the scholars who are here tonight. And so where are you? And I want to recognize all of you. coming tonight. The scholars are what we do our work every day for, and this is the partnership that we have throughout the nation. So tonight I would like to introduce to you Tom Chang, who's here with us. He's a 2014 scholar. He's an APIASF Wells Fargo scholar attending UC Berkeley. He's studying computer science. He's active in his community. He's an active volunteer. He's a leader in his own way. Please help me welcome Tom to the podium.
Wow, such a nice introduction. Good evening, everyone. My name is Tom Chang, and I'm, like I already said, I'm a APIASF Wells Fargo scholar. I grew up in Marysville, California, which is about 45 minutes north of Sacramento. I am excited to be here tonight to speak on behalf of all the APIASF scholars to share my story with the rest of you. Coming from a family of first-generation Chinese immigrants, most of my life has been characterized by adapting to the new environment and facing the financial struggles as a result of starting anew in a foreign land. I find it extremely difficult to comprehend how hard it must have been to settle in a land so far away and inherently different from our home country of China. My parents have made unimaginable sacrifices to get me into Berkeley. The countless hours they've endured in our little hut of a restaurant, which is only about it's pretty small. The arguments they've had simply because they couldn't afford to hire more employees, and even the physical and emotional stresses that are taking a toll on my parents' aging body. I see these things, and in honesty, it's hard to take it all in. This ultimately inspired me to apply to as many scholarships as I could senior year. I want to be independent. I want to not rely on my parents so much financially. But most importantly, I want to help my parents break their never-ending cycle of work, home, and sleep. It is their turn to take a break. However, my goals cannot be accomplished alone. It is only through the help of scholarships, such as APIASF, that I can afford college. I am grateful for these institutions. It is comforting to know that financial assistance exists for those who are ambitious enough to seek it. It is for these reasons that I wish to double major in computer science and cognitive science at Berkeley. In the near future, I want to move to Silicon Valley to immerse myself in the culture of innovation and technology. Ultimately, I aspire to create new technologies that will benefit the APIASF community and the world at large. Thank you, and have a great night.
And thank you for your leadership, not only on campus, but with all of us and in the community. So it's not only individuals and scholars like Tom, but it's really the thousands of students who we've supported over the years. And again, the success of all these students, they are the next generation, which is what we do as a scholarship fund, as well as all the linkages and leaders who are on campus at these APPI campuses. So thank you all for what all of you do. I appreciate everything that we do together as in a true partnership. So as an organization, I want to share with you a couple other things about who we are and what we've been doing in our trajectory. Any organization like a scholarship fund like us, we are a nonprofit. We are 501c3. We receive funds from not only Wells Fargo, but many other donors throughout the country. But like anything else, it's about the kind of organization we are. So the work we've done over the last 11 years today puts us as one of the top 100 nonprofits in the U.S. today. And if you look up on our website, you'll find that we are a member of something called the Social Impact Exchange S&I 100. This is a coveted award for us because what that means is we are not only scale ready, but scale worthy. And part of that is you have to have a scaling plan, and the scaling plan is essentially what I just mentioned to you tonight. It is our true intention to work with all of the APPI campuses in the nation, and end up exactly where the United Negro College Fund is with their connections with all the private HBCUs, and similarly with the Thurgood Marshall College Fund of how they partner with all the public HBCUs. We have a long way to go, so it's a community involvement, a community commitment with everyone here in San Francisco and all the other places where we're running similar community events throughout the country. We're excited that we're going to do something like this in Chicago very shortly. And next month, as a matter of fact, because we're partnering with the University of Illinois Chicago. As it happens, the chair of our board is a proud graduate of the University of Illinois Chicago. And he was the former chief financial officer of the Walmart Corporation. So this is the kind of linkages that we have throughout the United States today. So, like anything else, it's about getting involved with not only what we are doing as a scholarship fund, but wherever you are in your communities, to be linked up with the APPI campuses near to where you are. Many of them are, as I mentioned, are here tonight, especially being here in the greater San Francisco area. So some of the things that you can be involved with is, we have over 21,000 students who start an application. We have over 7,000 students who complete an application. Every year we give out for the APPI together with the APIASF scholarship program, roughly about 700 scholarships. It's a small percent of the total. It's about 10% roughly. And so what this means is you can become a reader for these scholarship programs and help us select some of the next generation. But it's really the gap. The gap is the other students who are also well qualified to receive scholarships that we don't have enough funds to support, even though they're well deserving of them. We try to communicate with all of the students who touch our scholarship program. So even though 21,000 students start an application, we actually communicate with all of them. So our email blasts these days are well over 100,000 students in the United States year after year. So there are flyers on the table that when you came in that tells you about how you can become a volunteer, how you can become a supporter, and also how you can become a champion of our organization. We're delighted that our champion program is about making contributions to help support our students. And if you become a champion, you can be recognized on our website. You can be noted at our scholarship benefit in November. And if you would like more information about the program, you can speak to Gail Yamada, who's our development vice president on external affairs, who's sitting at the table as you walked in. And what I would like to do lastly again is to give a round of applause for not only our students, but all the APPI leaders here, because again, you folks are doing the yeoman's work, and we want to be there to support all of you. So thank you, and thank you very much. And last but not least, I want to thank Jermaine and the entire Wells Fargo leadership for hosting us tonight, together with Nancy Wong, who's in the back there, who is one of our key leaders, linking up the Asian Pacific Islander community with not only organizations like ours, but other organizations throughout the United States. And Nancy, please raise your hand so we can recognize you for all your work. And thank you. And I want to thank again Dr. Moroshka for being here tonight and for your comments, as well as Tom, your gracious comments as well. Thank you, and enjoy the food, enjoy the beverages, and again, thank you all for coming this evening.